In each of these incubators, fragile, tiny lives. The babies are sick and emaciated, born prematurely, and even more vulnerable because during those first crucial weeks, they were surrounded by war. They evacuated first to southern Gaza from the embattled Al-Shifa hospital in the north. On Monday, two were reunited with their mother. Today was the first time I was able to see my daughters 39 days after I gave birth, she says. The feelings of fear and worry in my emotional state was very difficult. The twins were among the 28 babies then evacuated to Egypt. A freelance journalist working for CBC News took this video as they left to receive urgent care.
They have a long road to go. It'll take a long time for many of them to recover, given their current condition. But we do understand they're getting very good care at this time.
But still in Gaza, hundreds of other patients remain trapped by war. The Hamas-run health ministry says 12 people were killed during fighting at another hospital in the north, where Israeli tanks are stationed. Israel's defense forces says troops fired back at militants in the complex of the Indonesian hospital while trying to minimize harm to civilians. They also released a video of what they say shows a weapons lab under a Gaza mosque. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled the north.
This is the center of Gaza City.
Like Youssef Hamash, he fled to the south and now fears he needs to take his family closer to the Egyptian border.
If they keep pushing us and did the scenario of what's happening in Gaza City and the north, it's going to be the apocalypse.
Israeli forces created another temporary corridor for people to evacuate from Gaza City. As they did in the background, our freelancer captured this, what appears to be a group of blindfolded men. Israel says it's interrogating more than 300 fighters they've apprehended so far, and others who were captured during the October 7th attack. On Monday, as Israeli lawmakers debated reintroducing the death penalty for convicted Palestinian militants, family members of the hostages pleaded for them to not do anything that would further endanger their loved ones. Instead of talking about death, which is the most frequent word in this discussion, talk about life. 239 living hostages. Tonight, family members of the hostages met with the Prime Minister along with his war cabinet, and some of them said they were disappointed because they didn't receive any new information, considering that officials, including the U.S. President, has said that a deal is close.
And so, Breyer, a delegation of Canadians is in Israel right now on a trip to show some solidarity. I gather you met up with some of them.
Yeah, and that delegation includes 5 MPs, 3 Conservatives and 2 Liberals. And part of their itinerary is hearing from survivors from the October 7th attack. I asked them what they thought of the increasing calls by some leaders and humanitarian organizations for a ceasefire.
There was a ceasefire on October 6th, and Israel, again, has that right and obligation to defend herself.
You obviously want to minimize civilian casualties, but I very strongly believe that Israel feels and is right for the world, for the Palestinians, and for the Israelis that Hamas needs to go.
Besides the MPs, the delegation includes leaders from Canada's Jewish community.
All right, thank you. That's Breyer Stewart in Jerusalem tonight.